it's Jordana Bryant. I'm so happy that you found my new podcast, New Friends. I wanted to create a space where we could talk about things that I feel like people our age don't really talk about. My hope is that by us kind of coming on here and talking about some of those things, that you would feel like you can have those conversations with the people in your life. I am going to be bringing on a bunch of guests. I'll also be doing some episodes that are just me answering questions. So please share your questions. Leave them in the comments. DM me on Instagram. I would love to answer as many as I can. And I really hope you'll stick with me through this journey. And thank you so much for checking this out. I can't wait to join you in the next episode. Hey, welcome back to another episode of New Friends. For today's episode, I want to talk about something that I think so many of us deal with, and specifically, literally the majority of girls struggle with: people pleasing. I was talking with my friend earlier, and I was saying, I don't know whether it's something societally, culturally, we were all taught, or whether it's something intrinsic about all humans. Like maybe we all just genuinely don't want to hurt other people and don't want to hurt other people's feelings and care about other people, and that's why we tend to put other people's needs ahead of our own. But I also wonder if maybe it's something that we were all taught not to be selfish, and I think that somehow we maybe all assumed that that meant not paying attention to your own needs and not ever prioritizing your own needs. But I think that's very unfair to yourself, and I think that a lot of the time I try to look at a situation and focus on everyone's needs in the situation. For example, like let's say you're in a friendship where the other person has been really hurting your feelings. Like I had a friend who I think she had a need to feel good about herself. And when she felt like someone else was ahead of her success-wise, she really struggled with what that meant for her own self-worth. And I totally understand that because I've been there. But in turn, she would make my successes feel smaller and make me not feel great. And she would make me feel stupid for being excited about certain things. And I never had that conversation with her of, hey, you're hurting my feelings. And I don't know if this friendship is really making me feel great, because I was so afraid of hurting her feelings. I was so afraid of that conflict. And in the situation, I was only focused on one person, and it was not myself. And there were two people in that situation. And I think that how I've tried to reframe situations is looking at it as a third party. Okay, forget that I'm Jordana in this situation and she's so-and-so. There are two people in this situation. Person A needs this. Person B needs this. They both deserve to have their needs met. What can we do to have their needs met? Well, if Jordana doesn't have a conversation with person B, she's going to keep staying in this friendship where her need to have someone fill up her cup and not take away from it and not drain it is not going to be met. And person B's need to feel good about herself might be met, but both people's needs are not being met. Are not being met, guys. Both people's needs are not being met. I also think that sometimes emotion can be a big part of how you respond to a situation, because you want to respect someone else's emotions and you don't want to hurt someone else. But I think that it's important to look at those moments and take the emotion out of it and say, for example, this is something that I just ran into tonight. I was supposed to go out to dinner with one of my friends, and last week I was in LA, so we didn't get the chance to see each other, and I wasn't feeling well over the weekend, and we were going to try to see each other on Monday, and I wasn't feeling well. So I said, can we go for dinner next week? Last night, I ended up having to work till 1 a.m. I had a 9 a.m. meeting this morning and I was filming content right after. So I needed to get up, shower, dry my hair, do my makeup before my 9 a.m. meeting, and then film content all day. And then I had meetings afterwards. It was a long day for me. I did not get enough sleep, and we had plans to go out tonight. And I knew that one, I had more work than I could get done. So us going out to dinner tonight would mean I would have to work even later and not get enough sleep for tomorrow because I have an early day tomorrow too. Two, it would also be something that, while I wanted to see her, I really didn't feel up to going out tonight because I was super exhausted. And the people pleaser in me was like, okay, just make the plan work. You don't want to hurt her feelings by canceling these plans last minute. You don't want to do something that would make it hard for your friend. So I don't care that you're tired. I don't care that you don't feel up to going out. I don't care that you would really love to be able to squeeze in a walk before, the sun goes down. You have plans with her. Prioritize her feelings and just go and do the plans. And then I was talking with my mom and she was like, well, you're not really considering both people in this situation. Like, yes, you want to come up with a solution that works for your friend and you don't want to let her down. But aren't you letting yourself down if you're not prioritizing the fact that you've had a long day and you need to get your work done and you need sleep? And if you go out, you're not going to be able to get your work done and get enough sleep. So maybe you should consider both people in the situation and find out what you can do that honors both people. And maybe you talk to your friend about that. And maybe you guys decide to meet up tonight and at at your apartment, and you just have dinner in. That way you don't have to go out and it can be shorter and you still get to see her. And yet you also are able to get your work done and you're not too exhausted, because going out somehow makes you more exhausted than staying in. And you can also still get to sleep at a time where you get enough sleep for tomorrow. And I thought that was a really interesting perspective to have. I wasn't even considering, when I was trying to figure out what to do, I was not even considering what I needed or really how to figure out what both of us needed and achieve what both of us needed. I was solely focused on, well, I don't want to let someone else down. I don't want to let my friend down. I don't want to hurt my friend. But at the same time, I don't want to let myself down either. And if I was a mediator coming into a situation trying to find a solution for both people, I would look at it very differently. So I definitely am still working on my impulse is to just avoid conflict. I think a lot of girls, we have the impulse to just avoid conflict, do whatever will make everyone else happy, do whatever will be easiest for everyone else, which won't create any issues, which won't create any tension, which won't force us to have those difficult conversations. But I think that in those choices that we make to do whatever's easiest and whatever will make everyone else happy, we're actually not making everyone happy because we're not making ourselves happy. And we're not doing what's easiest because we're in fact doing what's hardest for us so that it can be easiest for everyone else. And I think that in those moments, it can be easy to feel selfish for adding yourself into the equation. So I try to look at it as like, okay, if I was someone coming in and giving their advice to these people, how to make everyone in this situation happy and how to meet everyone's needs, you're not going to make everyone happy, but how can you meet everyone's needs? Well, you can first off have an honest conversation, and you can also share what you need and talk to the other person about what they need, ask them what they need, and how can we both find a solution here? Like, even in the smallest of situations, conflicts, whatever you want to say, there's still a conversation to be had and a way to avoid the people-pleasing tendencies, So one of the things that I feel like I run into a lot is my friend and I want to see each other tonight. I have had a long day and I really just want to get to clear my brain by doing an exercise class. She did her makeup earlier because she had whatever going on, a meeting, and so she feels cute and she wants to go out to a restaurant and look cute and she wants to be social. She's been working at her desk all day and her need is to go out with other people and talk and be social, and my need is to clear my brain and move my body, and I'm tired and I don't want to go out and talk to people. Okay, both needs are valid. Both needs are legitimate. How can I meet both people's needs? Well, maybe it's a compromise of we can go on a walk at this cute park where she doesn't have to get all sweaty if she doesn't want, but I can also run, or I can just walk if I feel so inclined, but I can run and clear my brain by getting my body moving. Or I'm okay with not looking cute. I could go do my exercise class and I could join her for dinner. But if I don't have time for that, I can't just decide that to forego my need for clearing my head and moving my body. So maybe tonight actually doesn't work for the two of us to hang out. We want to hang out tonight, but maybe if I only have an hour and it's either going out with her for dinner, which doesn't really meet my need, but it meets her need, or asking her if she's okay with us going to a workout class, which doesn't meet her need of being social, then maybe we hang out another night. But at the same time, maybe finding a class where it is a social activity, where it's like yoga, where I get to move my body, but she also gets to socialize with other girls in the class and we get to socialize with each other. Maybe that's a win-win. So that's a long-winded way of saying, I think that in the moments where our people-pleasing tendencies try to overtake and try to dominate the situation, take a step back and try to find the win-win. And I am not the best at doing that, but my mom is very good at encouraging me to do that. And ironically, she is not the best at doing it for herself. But I think that's maybe all of us. As I'm saying this, I'm realizing maybe the best solution for a people pleaser is to talk through it with someone else, like your friend or your mom, because I think they'll give you the advice of how to create a win-win. They'll be able to recognize what your needs are, because one of the things that people pleasers do really well is understand what someone else needs. We can't really understand what we need ourselves, but we understand what someone else needs. So maybe in the moments where you're struggling, go to a fellow people pleaser, share the situation. They'll be able to recognize what you need, and you guys can talk through what the right solution is. And then you can do that for them. I feel like as I'm talking about this, my mom and I, who are both such people pleasers, we can really help each other in these situations. We do really help each other figure out what the other person's needs are and honor those needs. My mom is really good at doing that for me, and I'm really good at doing that for my mom. And my friend is really good at doing that for me, and I'm really good at doing that for my friend. I feel like maybe the trick is just, because it's hard to do it for ourselves, find someone who can help you do it for yourself and help someone else do that for themselves. However you say it. Okay, wait, that's actually a really good solution. I went into this episode being like, wait, actually, I'm so unqualified to talk about this because I don't ever come up with the solution. My mom is always the one who comes up with the solution. And I, in fact, am horrible at this skill. Wait, why am I even doing a podcast on this? upon reflection, maybe we've found a solution, kind of. And if you don't have someone to help you do that, I don't know what you do. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I think that if you don't have someone who you feel like you could talk to, or someone who gets it, because there are definitely people who are not people pleasers who would never understand, like, what do you mean you don't know how to prioritize your need? Just tell the person that you can't hang out tonight because you need to go to the gym because you really want to go to the gym, or just tell them that you need to get your work done and you can't hang out tonight, or tell them that you really want to hang out tonight and that you know they're busy, but like you really need a friend tonight. Like, just tell them whatever you need. I think that my dad is one of those people who he's very good at solving conflicts, and he doesn't have people pleasing tendencies, and he is very good, and he is not a selfish person. He is an incredibly selfless person, but he also doesn't feel the need to diminish his needs in certain areas. Actually, you know what, as I'm saying that, because I think he struggles to ask for help when it comes to an emotional level, of like when he has too much on his plate emotionally, or when he has too much on his plate, even just with trying to help, you know, me. Like when we were younger, he would try to help my brother with his tennis and, like, you know, go onto YouTube and figure out tennis skills and try to help my brother with his tennis. And he would teach me guitar, and he would also try to, you know, help my mom with the cooking or with the gardening or whatever it was. And he was also working a full-time job. So I think he struggles to ask for help or to recognize when he has too much on his plate. So maybe he has people-pleasing tendencies those ways. Maybe that's not people-pleasing. Maybe that's more so just like struggling to set boundaries and ask for help. But you know what he's really good at? When he is in situations like in business, in meetings, um, even in like with his family, he's good at recognizing when something doesn't work for himself and not feeling selfish for saying that, which none of us should feel selfish for saying something doesn't work for us. So I think that, like, sometimes it can be hard to have those conversations with someone who isn't a people pleaser because maybe they won't necessarily get it, but maybe they will get it. Maybe they will understand what you mean and they'll be able to share their insight of, well, I don't feel selfish for asking for what I need because I wouldn't think someone else is selfish for asking for what they need. Or, you know, explaining how in moments that us people pleasers think will be moments of conflict, if we voice our opinions, if you voice your opinion a certain way, it won't be a moment of conflict. And maybe we just need to get more comfortable with voicing our concerns or what we need and reframing what a moment of conflict is, because things that we feel like, oh, well, that'll create tension. Tension isn't a bad thing. You pull a rubber band, there's tension. You're not slinging it into someone's face just by pulling the rubber band. So maybe we're not creating conflict by sharing what we need. Maybe we're just creating tension, and maybe that's okay. Did that metaphor make sense? Was that a good metaphor? I feel like maybe, right? Okay. But what I was going to end with is, okay, part 2B of my thought was, so the first thought was, if there are other people you know who are people pleasers, ask for their help figuring out how to solve issues that come up, figuring out how to count yourself into the equation. If you don't have other people pleasers to go to, maybe talk to someone who's not a people pleaser, because maybe they'll understand and give you some valuable insight. And if you don't want to go to someone else, try to just look at the situation from a bird's eye, third-party perspective. How do I make everyone happy here, including myself? Because there's 2 people in this situation. There's 3 people in this situation, however many people, including yourself. How do I make everyone happy, and how do I respect everyone's needs, you know? So those are my thoughts, maybe. tell me your thoughts. I would love to know how you deal with people pleasing, because I certainly have not figured it out, other than the fact that my mom is really good at helping me deal with my people pleasing, and I'm really good at helping her deal with her people pleasing. And same thing with my friends and I. So that's what I've learned. What have you learned? What works for you? Please let me know. Always love to hear other people's solutions, because I feel like there are 1,000 ways to solve a problem. And I feel like this is a very universal problem. So I feel like there are probably so many different solutions out there to people pleasing. So let me know. This was so fun. I love these episodes. I could talk for hours to a camera. So I enjoy it. I feel like it's weird. I can be very introverted sometimes. Like, I can be shy around people I don't know, but at the same time, I can be so talkative and extroverted around people I do know. I think it's like I'm an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert, you know? Like, around people I don't know, I can be shy, but once you know me, I'm very extroverted, you know? So anyway, that's why I started a podcast. I don't know. No, that's why I enjoy podcasting. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening. Podcasting, you know? That's definitely not a word. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a good rating if you liked it. And follow if you want to hear more episodes. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye!